April 3rd, 2025. We're going to call this Economic Development Committee meeting to order. And we are going to start with courtesy of the floor, if we have any out there.
Chairman, may I proceed? Is this microphone? Mr. Chairman, may
Yes.
I proceed?
You may, sir. You look familiar.
Thank you. My name is Lamont McClure,
Go.
next door. It's nice to be here with you this afternoon. I'll see you a few more times today, I'm sure. The reason I'm here today is one of the most pernicious cuts that the federal government has made thus far affects both Northampton County farmers and hungry children at the same time. This is a national problem, a national crisis caused by $1 billion being cut from farmers and hungry children. And just let me very briefly, from USA Today, we have a headline that says, "Going to be a lot of hungry people. Food banks, farmers across the country decry federal cuts." In early March, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said it was cutting more than $1 billion in funding for the local Food for Schools Cooperative Agreement and the local Food Purchase Assistant Cooperative Agreement programs for 2025. The money was designed to pay farmers to provide food to schools and food banks, giving a boost to local producers while giving fresh options to children and communities. It's like a pretty good program. Well, they cut $1 billion from it. So it's a national problem, calling out, crying out, screaming for national solutions. Unfortunately, none of us can do anything about national problems. What we can do is handle our own business in our own little corner of the world with the limited resources that we have. And that's something that we all must understand. Our resources here to help are limited. But with that being said, Director Smith and her amazing staff have come up with an innovative program to help deal and ameliorate, at least to a small extent, these massive federal cuts of $1 billion to farmers and hungry kids. So we have devised a plan to use CDBG money, and we're under the heading Northampton County School Districts and Nonprofit Community Organizations. And we're going to grant to the Bangor Area School District Slater Family Network Food Pantry $10,000. The signaling event there allowing us to do that grant is that they have high rates of childhood poverty in their coverage area. We're going to donate to the Penn Argyll School District Families First $10,000. Again, high rates of childhood poverty. The Wilson Area School Links Center, LINCS Center, $10,000, high rates of childhood poverty. So $10,000 to the Slater Family Network, $10,000 to Families First in Penn Argyll, $10,000 to Wilson Area Links. Bethlehem Emergency Shelter, $5,000, experienced heavy usage. Safe Harbor Homeless Shelter, $5,000. Again, experienced heavy usage. Shiloh Winter Shelter, $5,000. Experienced heavy usage. Nazareth Food Bank, $10,000. Slate Belt Food Hub, Mission of Love Ministry, serves catchment area of 12 pantries, 12, $20,000. And Western Food Hub, Northampton Borough Food Center, serves a catchment area of 4 municipalities, high rates of childhood poverty, $25,000. So that's what we're going to do in our little corner of the world to try and help ameliorate those cuts. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. I did have a conversation with Mrs. Smith this past week just to see if and when, and we don't know when we're going to be able to get the data on farms that are adversely affected by the cuts that we have been seeing from Washington as it pertains to a lot of the food pantries throughout Northampton County. It's my hope that at some point down the road, down the line, we'll be able to get this information once it's available to us in a more detailed and data-based fashion. I am so pleased Mr. County Executive, that you provided us with that information. One of the groups of individuals who are going to be affected by this are foster youth here in Northampton County. I know this because I work for a nonprofit that helps foster youth in New Jersey, and a lot of the cuts that we've been seeing from Washington, not just with regard to food assistance, but in other ways, are going to affect foster youth. Children who have been removed from their homes by no fault of their own. And I think it's important that we keep that little tidbit in the back of our minds as we are moving forward with understanding how these policies from Washington are going to adversely affect our communities. I'm not seeing any positives, quite frankly. Not seeing any positives with what is happening in terms of helping working folks and helping people who are needy in our community. So with that being said, thank you, Mr. McClure, for that report. And did you have something?
Yep.
Commissioner Keegan?
I just want to say thank you. I am part of the Links program, and we just had a meeting, and just kind of a sad meeting, thinking to ourselves, we're going to have to discontinue a lot of things that they have been doing in the community. And so I know they're going to be very, very happy with this. Thank you so much.
Right, as we are moving along with the agenda, any more courtesy of the floor? All right, seeing none, we are going to move on with a presentation from the Easton Housing Authority. Ms. Smith, if you'd like to take the mic there and take it away.
Lowered a little bit, but good afternoon, Commissioners. Pleased to be with you this afternoon, and I am delighted to introduce Mr. Tyler Martin, who is the Executive Director of the Easton Housing Authority. He's been with that authority for about 3 years now, and he's working on some really good new projects, one of which he's going to go into some more detail today. So, Mr. Martin.
Good afternoon, everyone. So again, Tyler Martin, Executive Director of Easton Housing Authority, and I just wanted to present to you this afternoon a couple of really cool projects that we have in the works. One of them you can see up on the screen here. This is the previous Easton Home location, which was a senior care facility at 1022 Northampton Street, and this is how we have re-envisioned it to preserve that site into affordable housing. So first off, I'll go into a few details here. So the Housing Authority intends to continue to be the property owner and manager. And we have procured a master developer partner, MDG Design and Construction. They're out of New York City. And our master architect, who we do not have listed here as they are technically a subcontractor of MDG, is KMA. They are out of the Philadelphia suburbs. So we have been working away on 2 properties. The first one I'll mention is the Harlan House High Rise, which is at 221 South 4th Street. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with that high-rise property. It's right downtown here, just down the street. So that property was a previous LIHTC project and has become rather outdated. It is in need of some updates and some upgrades. So we have been planning for a 4% LIHTC application for that property. We will be applying imminently for that 4% tax credit funding. We have received intel from PHFA that they intend to be able to give out 4% on a rolling basis. The 9% LIHTCs are going to be much more competitive for the next, well, I guess the foreseeable future here, next few years at least. And the Easton Homes is a 9%. But first off, we'll talk about the Harlan House High Rise. So we do have high hopes for this scoring very well once we submit that to PHFA. Again, that's the 4%. We will be rehabbing the entire building with all residents remaining in place. So essentially, as a resident moves out, we move in to start to rehab that unit, move somebody into that rehabbed unit, and you do that like puzzle pieces throughout the entire building. So no alteration to the existing footprint and no relocation of residents. That makes our job a lot easier. We intend to do new bathrooms, new kitchens, flooring, common spaces, and also some admin space for supportive services on site, which gets you additional LIHTC points on your scoring. We intend to replace all windows and all HVAC systems. The windows are wooden currently. I have no idea why they put wooden windows in there, because wood just rots, but that is the current problem that we have. So all new windows, new systems, which are both really needed and will also help seal the property up, making it much greener, lower our operations costs, and be better for the environment as well. So we're very excited about the Harlan House project. Again, we anticipate to win that one, as it is preliminarily scoring well from our consultants. Next up, I'll talk about the Easton Homes project here. Previously known as Easton Home, it was a senior care facility. We have slightly renamed it to Easton Homes, plural, which tends to be a little bit more in line with the titles and names of housing authority properties, right? It's not just one home, it's individual homes for all of the individuals who will be living there. So, again, that's 1022 Northampton Street. We have submitted that 9% LIHTC application in February of 2025, when those applications were due. Again, going to be highly competitive. However, we do have support from various levels of government, including at the local levels here. So we have certainly done our best to garner up the public support needed. And we're hoping that that's bleeding out into the state level as well. I guess time will tell. And so the purpose of building out this new property is so that we are able to vacate our Walter House high-rise, which is next to, essentially right next to the Harlan House high-rise. Walter House is our most problematic site currently. The prospects of it being rehabbed are not good, because all the walls are cinder block. It's nearly impossible to expand and produce the larger units that you need for square footage purposes for PHFA. That means that that property is a tear down. That means that you need to vacate the entire property, relocate all of those residents in place, which are 45 residents currently, and then you can tear that property down and start to rebuild. So the plan with Easton Homes is to build specifically for the current unit count at the Walter House high-rise, 45 units. Upon completion of this property, residents currently at the Walter House property will have the option to move into a new unit at Easton Homes, or they will also be offered a TPV, which is a tenant protection voucher. It allows them to find a unit on the private market through the voucher program if they choose to do so. Which, if you all know about the voucher program nowadays, it's essentially, it's nearly impossible to find a unit. So what we anticipate is that residents will happily move into the new property over here, but they will have the option technically to accept a voucher. So that's the larger plan for this site, is to be able to rebuild and re-envision the Walter House property. And just to touch upon that project, which we're also planning for, which requires disposition through HUD first, and then you can actually start to build after that. We intend on expanding that property from the Walter House location currently, and expanding it over towards the 157 South 4th Street, which is my small executive office right on 4th Street. And, hopefully creating, an L, much larger property there. So that's the longer term vision. But to come back to Easton Homes, our plans successfully passed the Easton Zoning Board unanimously on the 17th of last month, 3/17. So that was a big win for us. Now we can successfully move on to actually planning the construction phases and land development phases of this project. So we plan to utilize a mix of adaptive reuse rehab and new construction. This is the Northampton rendering there from Northampton. And then this is the actual site plan. The existing building there in the center in the darker gray, that's the existing footprint. And not sure, do I have a pointer? No, okay. On the east side, the light gray portion, that's the new construction portion. So we will be building a brand-new three-story building there, which connects directly to the existing building. The existing building currently has 52 SRO units in it. SROs are single occupancy, basically. It's a bedroom with a half bathroom, and then there's some shared bathrooms throughout. So the plan is to take 3 of those SROs and combine, gut and combine 3 into one one-bedroom apartment. So those 52 current units will turn into 18 one-bedroom units on the existing property. The new construction side added to that will give us the total of 45 units. Yes?
I'm assuming there's logic behind having 45 one-bedroom units. Could you explain?
Yeah, so one-bedroom units are, I'll back up. So we have wait lists. We have a public housing wait list, and we have a housing choice voucher wait list, both with thousands of people on them that are just waiting for their name to come up for either a public housing unit or a voucher to be issued to them. The most common type of unit on those lists is one-bedroom units. So that right there shows a need for the one-bedrooms. That gives us the data into strategically plan the types of units that we want to include on the property. That paired with the fact that we need to build this to vacate the Walter House building, which are all one-bedroom units currently, that gives us that 45 one-bedroom.
What are the demographics? Are these older people, middle? Oh,
Senior disabled.
gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And that is the current population at Walter, yeah. So, every one of these units will be ADA compliant. And that is the majority of the folks that we house, by the way, those 2 specific populations. So, some of you may be familiar with, on Northampton Street, the historic mansion. We will absolutely be keeping that. We'll be rehabbing that into a commercial space for our nonprofit partner. So we currently have a nonprofit partner who has an operation out of a different one of our public housing sites. They provide case management services, not only to our residents, but to the Easton community in general for generally low-income residents who are in need of case management services, medical services, referrals, for other resources, so on and so forth. We intend to expand upon that partnership with them and actually house a much larger operation for them out of the historic mansion. So they will have programming and also office space there. We're very excited about that partnership. We're excited about the expansion of that partnership. And that also gets us supportive services points on the LIHTC application. So that gets you that gets you some nice additional points. So we do have that in our favor as well. More than the points, though, that's just a big win for the West Ward, right? It's right on Northampton Street. It's accessible via public transit. It's just very centrally located to have a social services provider, in that location. It'll also be beneficial for residents from our other properties in the West Ward because it is centrally located. So we intend on having some type of van service, to bus our residents from the other locations to this larger nonprofit space. And lastly, the main services that nonprofit partner provides are case management and medical services, as I mentioned before. And that's a rundown of the 2 projects, and I will take any questions.
I believe you had said, as it pertains to Easton Homes, that you're hoping to have some bleed out to the state level in terms of the some applications. Can you go into that a little bit more of what you're needing from the state, and is there anything we can do to help with that?
Yeah, so I can answer, you know, the former part of that question for sure. We just essentially need any type of support, you know, at the advocacy level
Okay.
for our LIHTC application. So, you know, without certainly using any term lobbying, right? It's advocacy. But yeah, we just need all the support that we can basically to draw attention to this project at, you know, varying levels of government,
Okay,
state being one of those levels.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Which agency?
you can't get support letters from,
Yeah.
from US senators, you know, but you can certainly get in front of them, which we've been doing our best to do.
The LIHTC application, what agency does that go to?
PHFA,
PHFA,
Public Housing
that's right.
Finance Agency, yes.
Anybody else have any questions before we adjourn? Mr. Gofredo?
What was the estimated construction cost for the project?
Oh, you know, if I had my master developer here with me, I would have the answer to that. Yeah, I don't want to give you an incorrect response right now. Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely can. Just don't want to give out incorrect information. I can give you ballpark, but
Any other questions?
No, thank you, it looks great.
so much.
Does look great. Thank you so
Appreciate
much
it.
for taking the time
Yes,
to come for
absolutely.
this update.
Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. Anything else anybody has for the committee at this point? All right, we will adjourn. Oh, Tina, we will not adjourn.
Time, which we never have. If I can just take a few minutes, I just wanted to make everybody aware of some extracurricular events that we have going on through the Department of Community and Economic Development. And I will give the staff these flyers. If any of you are available to join us, please feel free. Through our Digital Navigator Coalition, we have our complimentary Lunch and Learn, our tech training, which is going to take place on Tuesday, April 15th, and that's at the Slate Belt Y from 11:30 to 1. So we will be working, students from the Penargil Area School District will be coming and teaching the predominantly senior attendees how to use their devices. Please don't forget that we do have the device repurpose plan in place, so if you know of a Northampton County resident that is in need of a laptop or a cell phone, or a nonprofit or a municipality, please have them reach out to us because that program is still going strong. Just ask IT, they cringe when we call. But we're very proud of being able to put those devices back into the hands of our residents in need.
You've all been doing a great job with that program, quite frankly. I want to make sure when I'm communicating with folks in our Northampton County community that I'm being appropriate with what is available, because I've had people say to me, you know, can I get a phone for this, or can I get a computer for this? And I don't 100% know what's appropriate in order for me to say yes. So I guess certainly I would come to you
Sure.
with any of those inquiries.
Yeah, just send them
But
directly
if
to
it's a
me.
nonprofit municipality,
Or a resident,
or just any resident
any
who is in
resident.
need.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Yep, laptops and phones are what we have in our capacity right now.
Laptops and phones. Okay,
Correct.
Okay.
Also, April 26th is a Saturday. We were approached by Northampton Community College. We will be doing our first ever Earth Day Festival on the main campus of Northampton Community College, right in the quad, if you're familiar with the layout of their main campus, right off of Green Pond Road. We are going to have an educational speakers panel, all things related to, you know, Earth Day and solar and efficiencies. But in addition, regular festival activity, we're going to have some food and some music and some crafts and a lot of interactive potting, soil plantings, rock paintings, things of that fun nature for the kids to be educated while they're there as well. So if you're interested on that one, not to forget, the 6th Annual Northampton County Festival will be Saturday, October 11th, from 11 to 5 at Louise Moore Park, along with our beloved awards program. So if you've got someone to recommend for award recognition, be it a veteran, EMS, volunteer, senior, youth, municipal worker. We have all those applications available. We are also partnering with the Small Business Development Center at Lehigh University to bring back our Small Business Strive and Thrive trainings this year, so we're happy about that. We've got one coming up on May 14th, which will be at the Nazareth Memorial Library. You had Holly here a couple months ago, and she is gracious enough to host us for that event. That'll be starting at 8:30 in the morning. Wednesday, June 18th, also in conjunction with SBDC and also the City of Easton, we're doing a Taste of the Food Industry. That's on June the 18th, and that will be at the Easton Public Market. That also will begin at 8:30. These events are all free, by the way. Then September 15th, we will be doing a small business resource fair. We did this 2 years ago at Northampton Community College. This year, we're kind of partnering with a new facility, which we're excited about. So we'll have resource tables there, but that's going to take place at Hang Dog in Williams Township, right off of 78, and then we'll have the tables there full of resources for our business community, and you can go ahead and try the course if you want. I can't promise that that will be free, but we will be coordinating that with a networking event as well. So lots going on this year. Please, if you're available, join us and take advantage and get to meet some of your constituents out there.
Thank you for the update.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Any questions? Anything else for economic development? I did find the project. Oh, here we go.
31 million.
Here, can you come up to the mic just so we can make sure we're getting it recorded?
31,292,000. That's the projection. You're welcome.
Thank you for getting that figure to us. All right. Anything else? No? All right, we are adjourned now. All right.